I'd like to call the Personnel Committee of Menasha to order. May I have a roll call, please?
Alderman Grotti.
Here.
Alderman Benner.
Here.
Alderman Nichols.
Here.
Alderman Taylor.
Here.
Alderman Sevenik.
Here.
Alderman Collier.
Here.
Alderman Kruger.
Here.
Alderman Zielinski.
Here.
Mayor Merkes.
Here.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes from 7/17 for the Personnel Committee. May I have a motion, please?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes of the Personnel Committee for 7/17.
Second.
There's a motion in a second.
17.
Thank you. D, action items. Is that- Oh, sorry. May I have a voice vote, please? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Action items, proposed change to personnel policy, retirees insurance benefit. Director Jacobs, can you help me with this one, please?
Yes, I can. Thank you. What we attached tonight is a small change to the personnel policy handbook for the employees with a little extra wording based on the actions that were taken 2 weeks ago when the budget was adopted for a small change in the benefits for our City of Menasha retirees. What we did in here is based on the dialogue that was shared 2 weeks ago when the budget was approved. What we've done is we worded it, and I've added on the back of that page. You have in there what the present policy is for the health and dental insurance continuation rights for the retirees, and then what the proposed language would be, and it's adding the words that mentions that the cost of the retiree group health insurance coverage shall include health insurance premiums, HRA or health reimbursement arrangement fees established annually by the Common Council, and any administration fees for the health insurance program. The retirees shall be able to utilize any bank sick leave balance for funding their health insurance premiums, the HRA fees, and applicable administration fees. And then we added a second paragraph, which would be just shown in the policy handbook for just 2018, based on the actions taken 2 weeks ago. For 2018, the retirees shall be responsible for their entire health insurance premiums, while the city shall be responsible for the HRA fees and the applicable administration fees. However, this 2018 retiree health insurance funding provision shall sunset as of the end of 2018. So this is the wording change we would like to propose as staff to be moved forward to the Common Council in 2 weeks prior to the end of 2017, going into the 2018 year, and so that we can share this information also with our retirees that Candy would like to send out here tomorrow. Are there any questions?
Alderman Stefanich?
7.
Sevenich.
There you go.
Just want to see if you're sleeping.
You have to hit it again.
You might be sharing mine now.
No, that's okay. Just hit it. There, I got it. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. At this time, I'll move for the recommended proposed amendment to the personnel policy handbook for the paragraph that is before us.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any questions? I see no questions. Mayor.
Oh, I couldn't, you gotta lift that
No,
up.
didn't
I got to
see-
put it higher so you
There
can
you
see
go.
it,
Yeah.
then they won't be able to hear me.
Mayor?
I guess I have two concerns with this proposed policy. First, it's creating a new benefit for our retirees, which the expectation has always been if they wanted to stay on our health insurance, they could, but it would be at their cost, at 100% their cost. This is creating a new benefit for past employees to stay on our health insurance at a cost of about $20,000, we estimate. But secondly, I think even more important is the fact that the cost of health insurance for our current employees, the actual cost to them will be going up this year, what they're going to be taking out of their paychecks. the actual cost for our retirees will be going down this year if this passes. And what kind of message does that send to our current employees when we say their costs are going up, but we're going to pay for a chunk of people who used to work here? I don't think that's a message that we want to send to our employees if we want to retain good employees. And because of that, I won't be supporting that this evening.
Alderman Stefanich?
Why is that so hard for you guys? I just don't get it. Don't make sense.
Thank
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just to reply, I mean, I understand where the mayor's coming from. He takes a solid and good position. We as a council during budget time understood that our administrative director came in a little late. This insurance information came late to us. We were trying to make things work out better for everybody, and we made it very clear, and I did specifically. I looked at the people in the gallery and I told them, realize that this is a one-shot deal. This is for 2018 only. After that, you have the option to go out there, just like I have to, and all of you, to look for other types of insurance. And I would actually don't understand why they actually don't, because it would be so much more cheaper. Because honestly, the insurance that we are providing is, in my opinion, extremely high. So I made it clear, 2018 only. Following year, I will not support this. So that gives them an entire year, because they were caught off guard. You know, they didn't get to do, go out and shop for insurances, in my opinion, at the last second here. So I was willing to, in this case, to step forward with the rest of my colleagues here and relay that it was important that we help them out this one time.
Is there any other questions? Oh, sorry.
Very far one there, I think. Yeah, you gotta actually hit it. He just put karate on.
Oh, okay.
Anything to say, Ted?
No, I'm pushing this good. so get
Right
your-
here, buddy. Let me just do it.
And this has got him.
No, you got Kruger
Steve,
now.
I thought you wanted Steve. That's what delayed
That's
on.
all right. See when they flash? That's who's up next.
I
Thank you,
thought
Chairman.
Steve's light was on.
He was, but you hit it.
Yeah, but then I went back, no, okay.
It's okay.
We're good.
Chairman can call who he wants.
Yeah, thank you, Steve.
Stan?
Okay. Hey, thank you, Chairman. I was not here at that last conversation, so I really do, I agree with the mayor as, on this aspect that it's really not treating the current employees fair and all that, but just so I get a little bit more information, how much did that fee go up from last year to this year? And the fee, I take it the fee was even across the board for current and retirees then, correct?
The way that the health insurance was funded for the active employees was that they were contributing 5% for their health insurance benefits on the premium for 2017, and now for 2018, it will go up 2.5%, so it'll go up from 5% up to 7.5%. So it's a 2.5% increase for the active employees. Now, on the retirees, because we went with the deductible level is doubling. It's going from $1,500 to $3,000 for a single plan, or for the other three plans, it's going from $3,000 to $6,000. So it's an increase in the deductible, so the premiums are actually falling by 1.82%. So that's why, if we're only requiring the retirees to only pick up the cost of the premium, they're getting the benefit of the 100% of the premium falling by the 1.82%. So like, for instance, for a family plan that has a spouse and children, they will be saving about $369 next year if they stay on our plan for 12 months and paying just the premium. What we were doing with creating the HRA, or the Health Reimbursement Arrangement Account, is that the city will be funding that second tier of the deductible. So you've got the original tier that they've always been, that both for active and for retirees. We're always fully funding that portion of it, paying for that original amount. Then by doubling the deductible, the city was going to be contributing the second tier, the second level of the deductible, new deductible amount, and that we're funding that at roughly about a 35% level. Industry averages are like about between 15 to 30% is what they recommend for funding it, because most families and singles are not going to be bleeding through the entire second level. So we decided, based on the recommendation from our insurance broker, to fund it roughly a little higher than industry average, since this is our first year, at 35%. And any monies that are put into that bank, that the city retains 100% ownership of that, those monies will be able to be carried forward to the next calendar year, meaning into 2019, if we find out that this is continuing going forward, the lowest, most efficient way to provide health insurance for our employees. That we would retain those monies, and that funding, that 35% level, could drop down to, say, 15% in the second year, with whatever monies we roll over in there. But the city will control that money we are funding for that second-tier deductible. It's not controlled by the employees or the retirees. So like the mayor had mentioned, we're actually asking that the active employees should be picking up a higher cost, higher share of the insurance premium, the extra 2.5%, but because of the doubling of the deductible, which actually brings the premium down almost 2%, that's why the retirees would be picking up a lower percentage cost than they had previously, and staff had originally pitched it at the time we talked about this at budget time, that by us having them even contribute that 100% of the amount of the HRA fees, they still would have been paying lower amount out of pocket for health insurance coverage than if we'd just gone with the flat 8%, which would have been the other option. Just go with the flat 8% renewal of the health insurance premium. With the HRA component in there, they would have been paying less. But the decision was made when we adopted the budget that they would be paying only 100% of the premiums, not the HRA or the administration fees.
So that, okay. You go to any other employer, they don't allow you to stay on your insurance after you retire, and they sure in the heck don't pick up your insurance costs either once you're retired. I said our insurance went up from a $2,500 deductible up to a $5,000 deductible this year alone, and it's a fact of life. And I do agree with the mayor. I mean, it does set a bad precedent for the current employees if the retirees now are getting a benefit that the current ones aren't either. So I'll listen to see if anybody else has something to say, but I'm more apt to vote no on this also, along with the mayor, because I agree with what he said, that to me, it's just odd. My wife works in this field her whole life, and she thought this is completely odd also, just supplying retirees with these type of benefits is just unheard of. So, well, I'm willing to listen to everybody else and see what else is said.
Thank you, Alderman Kruger. Alderman Benner?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to be clear about what the spirit and the intent was with me when this all started, and it got convoluted from there, because this is a new process and how we're doing it. What I stated was that the cost of the insurance policy to the retiree should be the same cost as what that policy value is to an employee. So if the employee's cost, let's say with its as its benefit, say it's $6,000 for a policy, and I know it's more than that, well, then that's what the retiree should pay. And we got hung up on the administrative fee of what that is, and I said I don't think that they should be paying an administrative fee when the deductible is what it is. We made a decision to do the 2-level deductible is what we're doing. And I didn't think that with the fact that we made that decision to do that as a cost-saving measure, that we should be charging the retirees for that administrative fee. That if there's an administrative fee that goes with it and that's all part of the policy, well, then that's whatever it should be. And it got convoluted and twisted around from there, and it took a life of its own, and it is what it is. to this day. And when I asked about the value of that, it was estimated that it was going to be $5,000. And then to my surprise, we come back a week or two later, whatever it was with the budget, and it's $20,000. So now it's 4 times what our initial discussion thought that it was going to be when we're thinking of how much this is going to affect the city. And I remember Alderman Sevenich saying that we need to go back and find that $5,000 in the budget and take care of our retirees. And then we come back and it's $20,000. And to me, that was quite a difference, but we made the commitment, my opinion at that point, but it got convoluted from what the spirit and the intent was for me as to what we were going to be providing for the retirees. It ended up costing a lot more, but that is what it is at this point, so that's my opinion. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Benner. Are there any other questions? May make a motion to vote on this?
We do have a motion, Mr. Chairman,
Yep.
to recommend it to the common council.
Oh, we do have a motion.
Can we vote on it now?
Motion carried on roll call, 5-4.
Thank you. Action item 2, update the safety manual. Respirable crystalline silica exposure control panel. I would think this would be, the attorney, please, or? Oh, sorry. Action items number 2, update the safety manual. Attorney, would that be you?
I did ask to put this on the agenda. This is a new policy that was put into place by the Health Department, and if someone has questions about it specifically, our director, McKinney, would be the best one to answer it, but the Common Council does approve our safety manual, and since this is a new policy, I thought it best to come through the process and have it adopted as well so that it can be inserted officially into the safety manual.
Thank you. Director, will you help me with any other input that you might?
Sure.
with any other
This
input you might have?
policy is in compliance with the silica standard for OSHA, and it was provided to us by CIVMIC. So basically, they helped to guide the development of the policy. It would include making sure our workers are safe using engineering controls, work practice controls, training, monitoring, just like any other policy we have.
Thank you. If there's no other questions, Mayor Merks?
I will make a motion to recommend approval to the common council.
Thank you. May we take a vote, please? All in favor, say aye. Oh, sorry, I didn't see that late. Oh, okay. Thank you.
Debbie, do you want a roll call on this? or-
That's up to the
Yeah.
chairman.
Right, I just was wondering how
We'll
you...
take a roll call, please.
James is gone, so it's up to you to call it.
Yep, we took our vote, I'm sorry.
I
Yeah.
haven't, well, do you want me to reveal it, or do you want me to?
Reveal it, but, okay,
Okay.
gotta wait for him? Thank you.
Motion carried on roll call, 8-0.
Action item 3, authorization of Mayor Merks to grant a one-time bonus to city employees Brian Hasley and Patrick James in recognition of extra workload for the relocation of City Hall. May I have a motion, please?
Yes.
Just turn them.
Alderman Stefanich. Stefanich, sorry. But look at that. Yeah.
There you go, he's on now.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll move for the mayor's recommendations as you go ahead. Looking for a second, then I would like
Yeah.
to speak on it.
Okay, another question?
Thank you. As you recall, during the budget process, we thought that it was very important that Patrick receive some type of an additional incentive because, well, number one, he's here for 4 or 5 hours at these meetings. That wasn't part of his original job responsibility. This is a small token, and it's appreciated, and it shows our appreciation from the council. And then the mayor also felt very strongly on Brian, and I'll let the mayor speak on Brian.
So both of these individuals were instrumental in the relocation of City Hall. This relocation could have went one of two ways, very well or horrendously awful. And luckily, it went very well. There were a few snafus here and there, but 98% of what happened very well. And we do appreciate everyone's hard work, but especially Patrick and Brian, who did the majority of the coordinating and some of the more difficult things to make sure this happened. These bonuses typically would be in the amount of $500, and that's what I would propose that I would give them unless I get different direction at this point.
Alderman Benner?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Mayor, could you refresh us on what the policy is? Because I thought that you had the ability to issue bonuses without permission from the council to do so. And in the name of recognition, certainly, and some folks may be uncomfortable with that, it's great that people are publicly recognized, but could you fill us in on what the policy is?
Okay. I can turn mine on, mine doesn't.
Go ahead.
So the policy was changed when I became mayor, that there is a maximum of 6 bonuses that can be given in any one particular year. Because the council felt very strongly about this bonus in particular, I thought we should bring it before the Personnel Committee. I had planned on giving those bonuses this year, so the one for Patrick would be in addition to the 6 that I normally had on my list. So that's why I asked that they be put here, but I do typically give somewhere between 2 and 6 bonuses each year in recognition of outstanding achievement throughout the year. And there would be also a memo within that person's file that states the rationale as to why that person deserved that bonus.
So these may not be the only 2
Yes.
that are given?
There likely will be others.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's just that
So these
it
would
was,
be.
it was felt strongly that these folks be publicly recognized for their
Yes.
efforts.
So these would be in addition to the ones that I'm currently
Oh, really?
allowed,
Okay.
is the way I had looked at this, but you can give,
Because I knew, I didn't remember the policy specifically. I knew that we gave you the ability to, as a council, the ability to issue multiple ones
yes,
without getting permission from us. So you could still do that, and these would be in addition to what was in that policy?
yes.
Okay.
That's the way I would take this.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Alderman Taylor. Alderman Taylor?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd just like to get a shout out to Patrick. Excellent job. We appreciate all your extra time and hours, and thank you for that.
Alderman Kruger?
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. I think this bonus is well-deserved, and I would hope that, Patrick is now, as Alderman Sevenick said, putting in an added 4 or 5, sometimes 6 hours during council meetings that was never in his job description prior, and I think that at some point in time, the council should consider or relook at his salary amounts for compensation too, because if I had I was required to be in it someplace an extra 5-6 hours every 2 weeks and not be compensated, I wouldn't be the happiest about it either. But his work is well appreciated, Patrick. And I just hope that the council does at some point in time take a look and reevaluate what he's doing as a job compared to what he's getting paid. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there, let's see, keep them in. He's not trying to get it to go. Alderman Benner?
Well, just in addition to that, I don't know if folks remember how IT took a whole different spin a few years ago too. And through a little bit of very, very good creative work with outside IT people and what we've done internally and stuff, and the work that Patrick has done with IT to just to keep us going where we are and to actually make the improvements that we had was outstanding. And I think a lot of us kind of forgot the fact that that happened. And every time I see him here, I keep going, how do we do this? But he's done an outstanding job, not just with what this is, but just with the city as a whole, with the way IT has changed the face of how we did business before. And it's very much appreciated. So I just hope that people recognize it's more than just what he's done for this particular move as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Benner. If there's no more questions at this time, may we take a roll call vote?
Motion carried on roll call 9-0.
May I have a motion for an adjournment?
Motion to adjourn.
Second? Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Opposed.
We gonna stop tonight, Didi, or no?
Broadcasts of the City of Menasha Administration Committee, Board of Public Works, and Common Council meetings are produced by University Studios of the University of Wisconsin-Fox Valley. Menasha residents and interested parties can obtain information about these meetings and meeting agendas from the city website, www.cityofmenasha-wi.gov. Expression of opinions regarding City of Menasha issues or about these broadcasts can be made by contacting the Mayor's Office, 920-967-5117. Contacting their city alderman. Contact information appears on the website. Completing the electronic feedback form on the website. All public portions of the meetings are recorded in entirety and are not edited for playback.